Even after being completed around 7 years ago, Longmire still holds a strong fan base. While everyone's waiting for Netflix to renew the show for another season, we might have some potentially bad news for all the Longmire fans out there. It looks like Netflix has decided to say goodbye to Longmire, as the show has already been removed from Netflix Canada, and it'll be leaving Netflix US as well. Here's everything we know. First up, Longmire and Netflix, a bittersweet relationship. Some may not know this, but Longmire wasn't always a part of Netflix. Originally, the show was produced by the A&E channel, which later abandoned it right in the middle of the road. This was when Netflix came to the rescue, and Longmire was renewed for another 3 seasons. From 2015 to 2017, Longmire fans got to watch all these 3 seasons of their favorite show. Another thing to note here is that Longmire was only available for all the US Netflix subscribers in the beginning. Later in March 2016, seasons 1 to 4 were released for the Canadian fans as well. In contrast, the rest of the seasons were released together in both countries. Sadly, Longmire fans outside of the US and Canada never really got to watch their favorite show on Netflix. But now, even the US and Canadian fans won't be able to watch the series on Netflix either. But why is this even happening? Isn't Netflix the one who saved the show? Why'd the savior itself kill the show itself? Next, can a Netflix original even leave the platform? Many of you must be wondering if a Netflix original can even leave the platform or not. But let us make something clear here. It's become very common for Netflix to remove original shows as well. Netflix produces some new shows and movies every year, and to make place for these new pieces, some old ones have to leave. Even extremely famous shows like The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Lucifer can be removed from the streaming platform. If we've to compare a show in this regard with Longmire, nothing could be better than the payoff. The show was removed from Netflix despite the fact that Netflix had released its final season as well. In short, it's their platform and they get to decide whether to keep something on there or not. Even though the platform isn't answerable for the removal of Longmire, fans still need a little bit of explanation to accept that their favorite show won't be available on Netflix anymore. Netflix hasn't made any official announcement about the removal of the show and the reason behind it. However, we do have an explanation. As per our beliefs and how the professional critiques explain it, Netflix never had full rights to the show. According to the reports, Warner Sisters Television only provides licenses for the show's streaming, and Netflix's license might have expired. Sorely enough, Netflix will probably not be able to have any long-term access to Longmire, and it will ultimately have to say goodbye to the famous show at some point. Was this removal already decided? Seems like yes, it was already decided and planned even before we could have guessed. Back in 2017, with the release of Longmire's 6th season, Netflix had made it very clear that it would be the last season for this show. Don't you think this announcement of season 6 being the final itself is enough to tell us that the show will be gone once it's been completed? Moreover, the removal of the show from Netflix Canada first also explains that the streaming platform already had it planned, or maybe the license was already bound to end by this time of the year. With everything going on, we can conclude that no one is really happy with this sudden removal of their favorite show, and if Netflix could renew the license, they should definitely go for it. Where else can you watch Longmire once it vanishes from Netflix? If you've been putting the show on your list and its turn never seems to come, it's time that you watch the show already while it's still available on Netflix. However, if you can't do that, you may opt for other streaming platforms where the show is available. Prime Video, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Peacock TV, and Vudu Movie and TV Store are some of the famous streaming platforms where you can watch all 6 seasons of your favorite show. If these aren't available for you either, you might as well just give up. Next, in other Longmire news, what are the odds of Longmire returning for another season? To be honest, being removed by Netflix might end up paving the way for another Longmire season. We've said this before and we'll say it again. The odds of Longmire returning with season 7 are actually high. The show is outstanding, and that was one reason why Netflix picked it up and renewed it for 3 seasons. Now, even if Netflix doesn't do the job, the possibility of some other channel or streaming service renewing it for at least one more season still remains. It may be just a dream of all the desperate Longmire fans, but dreams do come true, and Longmire had made its way back once years ago, and we are hoping for it to do the same once again. So even if someone asked us to give up the wait, we'll still stay patient and wait for someone to win our hearts and bring us another Longmire season. A new Longmire novel is on the way. Even though the show's season 7 is nowhere to be seen, a new novel, however, is surely on its way this year. The Longmire novel series has been a New York Times bestseller for a long time, and recently, the Longmire Foundation announced that the 18th novel from the series is coming out this year. The title of this upcoming novel is said to be Hell and Back, Longmire, and it'll continue the storyline from the previous novels this year. As per the reports, the novel will be released in September 2022. However, the exact date for the release hasn't been announced yet. It seems like Craig Johnson is way more loyal to all the Longmire Longmire fans than A&E or Netflix, and he doesn't want the Longmire fans to run out of Longmire storylines ever. The novel's official synopsis has also been released, and it gives us a great insight into what to expect from this upcoming novel. What's the novel going to be about? The synopsis of the upcoming novel starts with asking a question to the readers. It asks, what if you woke up lying in the middle of the street in the infamous town of Fort Pratt, Montana, where 30 young native boys perished in a tragic 1896 boarding school fire? So apparently this novel will be set in Montana and, of course, in the 1896's timeline. The synopsis asks another question that asks the readers about their strategies in a situation where everyone they meet is already dead but looks alive to you. And what if you had blood all over you and the gun you had in your hand had a missing bullet? The synopsis is full of questions, and these questions are enough to tell us the kind of mystery we should expect from the novel. From all that we've read in the synopsis, we can say that this novel will be full of blood, murder, mystery, dead people, and ivotsi hiomesi, which is a Cheyenne word that means trickster or stealer of souls. Oh, one more thing that you'll experience while reading this novel is Walt Longmire not being able to remember how he even reached Montana, or who he himself is and what happened there. In this upcoming novel, Craig Johnson will definitely take our beloved sheriff to the limits of his sanity, where he'll have to battle against the most dangerous advisory he has ever faced. We're looking forward to reading this mystery-filled novel, but the release date asks us to be patient and not to go insane. What other shows are leaving Netflix? Just like Longmire, Netflix is going to remove some other shows and films as well. So if you haven't watched these films and series yet, go ahead and do it before it's too late. In 2022, Netflix will be removing Parker, Mercy Black, The Never-Ending Story, No Escape, Edge of 17, The Darkest Hour, Labyrinth, Sabrina, Total Recall, Howard's End, Lawless, Philomena, Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, Despicable Me 1 and 2, all the Pokemon movies, The Ugly Truth, and Wild Wild West. There are many more on the list, but these are the most famous ones out there, and you shouldn't miss the chance to watch all these. Netflix does stream many shows and films. However, it's not necessary for the streaming platform to have all the rights over everything that's available to stream on it. At times, the licensing expires, and at other times, some other issues arise, and the platform has to take down these movies and series. Longmire has a special place in all the fans' hearts, and we're not ready to say goodbye to the show just yet. We hope that Netflix changes its decision and keeps Longmire streaming on the streaming platform. For now, this is everything we know about the Longmire series and novels, but if there are any updates about the show, we'll definitely be the first ones to tell you about it. So in order to stay informed, ensure that you hit that bell icon. We'll be back with more content soon. Goodbye.